Good morning, Coffee County. My name is Walter James, and I want to be your next sheriff of Coffee County. Some of you will not know me, so I'm going to introduce myself formally. I am Walter James, the son of John Walter James from Pearson, and my mother was Rosemary Williams James. Her father was a state representative for Coffee County many years ago, George Joel Williams, or GJ. Some people called him Judge. My family has lived in Coffee County for a long time. We've got generational roots here. And if you look very closely, you'll probably realize that we're related to each other. I'm here today to tell you that I want to be your next sheriff of Coffee County. I want you to know that I've been married to my wife, Sylvia, for many years, and we have 2 children. Now, you might not know Sylvia, but I think you will because she's a mathematics teacher at Coffee High School. Most of your children, and probably some of you, know her as Miss James. She's the nice one in the math department. She's over there grinning at me. We have 2 children. Both of them graduated from Coffee County High School. They are attending South Georgia College, and one day, eventually, they will get out of my pocket and they'll graduate from college and get a real good job somewhere. So that's a priority in our family. I want to go to my educational experience. I want you to realize that I graduated from Citizens Christians Academy back in 1981. Then I went to South Georgia State College. I got an associate degree and transferred to Valdosta State. And I graduated with a business degree, and that's where I met my wife, Sylvia. We've been married for a long time, 33, almost 34 years, very successfully, and she's the love of my life. I want to talk about my experience for a minute. I want you to know that I have real experience in law enforcement. My career started a long time ago, just a few years after we were married at the City of Douglas Police Department. I was mandated in Tifton and went to work as a patrol officer. That was a short stay. I went 11 months full time, but 3 years as a reserve officer. And after that, I was hooked. God led me to go to seminary after that. So we moved to Memphis, Tennessee. And after seminary was over, we came back to the City of Douglas in 2003. And that's when I picked up my City of Douglas Police Department job again. And I want you to know that time I got some experience. There's one thing everyone in this area knows about the City of Douglas is when you get out of that place, you have good experience, because they're sticklers on paperwork and making sure it's done right. And so I added upon my former foundation and learned a lot there. Patrol techniques, discipline, prosecuting cases in court, and just so many things. I can't be thankful enough for the officers who invested in me. After that, I transferred or got a job at the sheriff's office. That was August 14th in 2006. I was an internal affairs officer. Worked in the investigative unit, managed sex offender registry, took charge of the evidence as custodian, and also was GBI certified as a marijuana examiner. No, it's not what it sounds like. It was official, and it was with a microscope and chemicals and things like that. And I learned also to prosecute cases in court. After that, I was transferred over to the jail, to the courthouse next. And I spent time as a courthouse security, and I learned criminal procedure from a different standpoint. My job was primarily to make sure that the judges were safe, all of the judges and the attorneys and the prosecutors and the staff and the citizens of Coffee County. I learned a lot of your names there in that 3-year stay, which is really good and beneficial for me. I made some notes that I don't get sidetracked, so that I won't spend a lot of time getting sidetracked. But after I spent my time in the courthouse, when I was moved back over to the sheriff's office, I spent 1 year in the investigative unit. But this time, my job requirements and responsibilities were a lot different. I was over the narcotics unit and the criminal investigative division all at the same time. I was there for about 1 year in that position. Very soon after that, I was transferred over to the jail. I spent 3 years in the jail as assistant jail administrator. And I learned there once again. It's a completely different world in the jail. You have a completely different set of problems. I learned what it's all about to have a Department of Justice investigation, to be get credited by the Department of Justice. I learned what the policy is over at the jail. I was, me and my immediate supervisor, we reworked the entire booking process and simplified it and made it so that it would save Coffee County a lot of money in the booking process, and it's been efficient ever since. I learned to discipline inmates, to listen to grievances, and just to learn to take care of people who were in bad situations. And then I went back after that I went to the Douglas Coffee Gang Unit. I was the first, well, I was the only full-time employee in the gang unit, and I learned to operate under the radar. I was an analyst. My job was to identify gang members and identify what set that they were in and to prepare documents for them. A gang unit, the design of the gang laws in a gang unit is to help in the prosecution of criminals. It's not illegal to be a member of a gang, but it is illegal to be a member of a gang and commit crimes for the behalf of the gang. I was the first officer in Coffee County to successfully complete a gang case that was indicted. It's been indicted. The case itself is about 198 pages long. After that, I was transferred back to the sheriff's office, and I've been in an investigative division until March the 3rd, when I qualified to run for sheriff, and county policy says that you must resign. So if you look in real world, it's 17 years of real experience, but if you count the reserve years, it's 20 years. You can round it off, or you can be conservative with 17. It's not going to make much of a difference. I want to be the sheriff of Coffee County. I really humbly ask you to pray for me as I seek this position. But not only pray for me, I really want your vote. If you'll look closely at my experience, and if you'll talk to people who know me, and if you'll ask me to, I'll come and talk to you and introduce myself formally. I would appreciate your vote, and God bless Coffee County.